Oh, hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to be here with us and listen to our proposal. My name is Matthew, and I'm here with my teammates Skylar and Xiaonan. And we are very excited to present our solution to a common challenge between the United States and China. To go over the agenda for the next 20 minutes, we want to start with introducing our overarching topic of climate change that we wanted to address and focus on. And after that, we'll talk about what we wanted, the specific problem within climate change that both the US and China face and that we can address at the university level. Following that, we'll talk about our proposed solution to address said problem, the feasibility of implementing the solution, and the different types of impact that we would likely be seeing from our solution. After wrapping up with a quick summary, we'll open the floor to you guys for any questions that you might have. So I want to start out by giving a brief definition of climate change, which is a common phrase that I'm sure everyone has heard of. So according to National Geographic, climate change is a long-term shift in global or regional climate patterns. And while this shift can be natural, climate change in today's age is mainly caused by the man-made carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases within the atmosphere that are emitted through human inventions. And this topic of climate change is of particular importance to China and the US, since combined, the two countries make up roughly 44% of global carbon emissions. So there's a lot of pressure and incentive on the world stage for both countries to tackle the issue. And this incentive is seen within US-China diplomacy, as historically, climate change has been one of the safest areas of cooperation between the two countries. However, the recent rise of political tensions, particularly within the last year, has for the first time called into question whether both countries can continue working together on the topic. As you can see on the slide, of August of last year, China actually suspended climate change talks for the first time ever with the US following Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. And that suspension continued all the way up until November of that year, after which negotiations reopened. And that incident has really kind of shown that climate change is really at a tipping point, is at a critical point for US-China diplomacy going forward, and it can very well define how the two countries interact. And going back to what I said earlier about the large incentives for both countries to get climate change under control as soon as possible, the S&P Global, which is a global financial organization, released a study on the economic impact that climate change would have in the next 30 years. And both US and China stand to lose over 5% of their GDP by 2050 due to the effects of climate change. And in a low stress scenario, this number only goes down to 4%. So we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. And one of the effects that climate change is causing, and the issue that our proposal wishes to address specifically, is soil erosion, and specifically the mollisol subtype of soil. So mollisols, which are commonly called black soils, are one of the most fertile soil types in the world and are the base of agricultural productivity within both the US and China. This can be seen on the map here, which shows the distribution of black soil around the world. And as you can see, a large portion of black soil is stored within the Great Plains of the United States and northeastern China, which are two regions that feed both countries. And more locally, black soil is critical to the Minnesota economy, as it makes up a large majority of farming land within the state. It forms the basis of our agricultural economy. And so the health of this soil type is also vital to the health of our agricultural economy. As you can see on the map here, the soil suborders of Minnesota, the brown on the map indicates black soil types. And as you can see, it is covering most of the south of the state as well as the western border, as seen by the circle here. And when overlaid with a map of land usage in Minnesota, you can see that it almost perfectly coincides with the crop farming within the state. So the problem is we are currently witnessing erosion of black soil in both the US and China that is caused by climate change, both as extreme temperature and wind specifically. And in some regions of China, such as the image shown here, topsoil loss per year is as much as 1 to 2 millimeters, which is a lot compared to the 200 to 400 years needed to form 10 milliliters naturally. And in some regions of China, which I think also in this region here, the erosion has caused food productivity yield to be less than half of what they were 20 years ago. So it's not just a problem in the near future, it is a problem that is currently affecting both countries, and it is a problem that will continue onward unless stopped. So to summarize, before we get into our proposed solution, we are trying to tackle the issue of soil erosion caused by climate change, and specifically its effect on causing large reductions in agricultural productivity. Our solution that we propose is a transnational academic collaboration, which would drive the innovation and commercialization within the agricultural industry to battle this issue.
I'm going to introduce our solutions once again. It's the academic collaborations drive the innovation and the commercializations between the two nations. So we divided it into 3 steps. The first step is the academic collaborations between US and China, mainly focus on the black soil research. And the second step is we are going to create a knowledge sharing platform to work as a window to share the research results on the black soil to the public. And the third step is to commercializations based on the research results. Any businesses who are interested in black soil research results listed on our platform, they can go right into it and to find possible solutions to make agriculture, to improve their manufacturing processes and manufacture like the agriculture industry and businesses. So these are the 3. Well, first step is the academic research collaborations. We suggest our universities to collaborate with Chinese higher education institutions such as University of Chinese Academy of Sciences. Together, universities from both nations can work on finding solutions, combating black soil erosion and climate change issues. Our University of Minnesota have already devoted into climate change research. The black soil research would be another major topic in hope of discovering new methods of climate change mitigation. Our university is the world-class research institution. We have specialized department and college in agriculture, particularly in soil and climate change topics. We believe our University of Minnesota currently has the resources to support the idea of academic research in agriculture and climate change. The following 3 Chinese universities are our candidates to collaborate with on the black soil research. The first one is the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences. This is the national research institution with the specialty in science and engineering. They have already assembled a talent pool of soil scientists for several black soil research in the past few years in China. And one of the professors actually published the first report on black soil preservation back in 2021. And next is the Chinese Agricultural University. This is the best agricultural engineering research university in China right now. And last year, just several months ago, they just established a black soil lab in Zhaodong, which is a city in northeast of China. This is where the black soil majorly located. The last one is the Jilin University. This is also located in the northeast of China, and they have specialty also in focusing on agriculture. In addition, they established a black soil research institute within the university like 2 years ago. And the institute consists of 7 different research teams focusing on different aspects of the black soil only. So the researchers have been kicked off in multiple Chinese universities, but the comprehensiveness of their research will be broader if they could collaborate with the external researchers such as the ones from our university. Given by the resources and strong academic capabilities of these Chinese universities, we believe our university can coordinate the resources we need and exchange the knowledge of soil research with the Chinese counterparts. When China and the US are trapped in a highly intensive conflict, the academic communication between the universities can provide an example of rational voice and progressive manner of when solving conflict. So moving next to our second stage, we are going to introduce a website called blacksoils.com as the information hub. And the reason why we have this is because there's no black soil information hub on the internet currently, and the understanding of the black soil is vacant among the public. So it is hard to raise attention of black soil protection. So we want to let people and businesses to be aware of the development of black soil research and potential benefits for people's life, including food security and food prices. And also businesses can integrate feasible solutions into commercialized products or services, hoping businesses to achieve goals such as regenerative agriculture and the carbon emission controls. Just gonna introduce you a couple of examples here and listing them on the page. The first one is the third one is the research hub. You can see the research hub will regularly update black soil research, including research paper, interesting findings, and also recognitions of scientists who contribute to the black soil research. Next is the black soil database page. This page will serve as a knowledge sharing goal. The database will be open for data analysis for students, researchers, and the public. Lastly is the commercialization page. This page will list examples of research results, which turns into practical uses. The next step, which is our last step, is the commercialization of the research results. In order to support our research program, first we need to find the funding sources of the black soil researchers. We identified two major funding sources. One is from the government level. The National Institute of the Food and Agriculture provides up to $1.5 million under the Agriculture and Food Research Initiative. Similarly, at the state level, our Minnesota also provides a grant called the Agri Crop Research Grant with a maximum of $250,000 US. Our university is eligible for both grants since our research topic is related and appropriate to those grants missions. And our university is one of the led grant institution in the US as well. So from the business level, the General Mills and Cargill's has been invested in the agriculture research. Our team believes our topic will also be eligible for their grants. For example, in 2016, General Mills provided financial assistance to soil health initiative at the University of Minnesota. And the endeavor is to develop ways to build soil health. And from the Chinese companies, the Chinese state-owned corps called the COFCO International. This is the largest food processing company in Asia and has a history of sponsor research programs in China. Their most recent business goals given by the central government is to first preserve the black soil and second build sustainable agriculture in China overall. We believe there's a business interest embedded in the research results. Today, the value of the public traded company is partially evaluated based on the ESG score. The E stands for the environmental influence during the business operation. For giving a higher score in ESG, public companies are willing to invest in projects that can achieve environmental sustainability. Our research program is very likely to generate potential remedy for black soil and climate change. So businesses such as General Mills and the COFCO International are more prompt to sponsor our programs. The commercialization of the research results can help them to achieve agricultural sustainability and reduction of carbon emission. Our research proposal can also increase the profit on production. So the food shortage can be relieved for a greater population around the world. It is a real life practice of business as a force for good.
So let's move to the feasibility part. We identified two main roadblocks of our program. The first one is focusing on locally. We think there's difficulty in formation of US and China university partnership because there's already established soil science organization in both nations, especially the GSP. In China, they already have certain level of black soil research, but they only focus on the local impact and they are not focusing on the international impact. And those established organizations might become an excuse for both US and Chinese university to not participate in our program because of the low interest. Then for the internationally, we have the regulatory risk because the highly volatile US and China relationship, and we mainly focus on two parts. The first part is both nations are sensitive for information sharing, such as the cutting edge technology information like AI, cryptocurrency, or the pharmacy. And the other one is the agriculture competition relationship between US and China may become a roadblock for us. So we have some suggestions and solutions for the roadblocks we identified. For the regulatory risk, we cannot change the government policy for it, but we think the agriculture topic is not highly sensitive information and it's okay to be shared for both nations to improve. And there are already a lot of programs has been partnership with China between US and China. Plus our black soil research is to addressing the common problem for the black soil erosion, which is good for the climate change. And then we think both governments will positively support our program, so regulatory risk won't be a big problem. For the partnership difficulty, we think the reason is low interest of researching the black soil, which is the lack of the incentives. So the solution is to provide more incentives. The university should provide scholarship and subsidies to those scholars and find those PhD and the graduate student a good matching professor to lead them to do the program successfully. And we should emphasizing the bridge of sharing the research and learn ideas from the other country for our project, because open-minded is a good quality for the scholars. And this is another type of incentives we provided. So let's move to the impact part. We have the economical, environmental, and political impact for our program. For the economic, the black soil can absorb the carbon dioxide from the air and transfer them into the nutrition to the food, which can improve the food productivity overall. So the black soil research can help to mitigate the food shortage problem with super low cost, which is using the black soil only. And increasing the food production efficiency and quality can improve the agriculture economy overall for both countries. For the environmental part, most of the soil can absorb the carbon dioxide from the air, but the black soil have the ability to retain the carbon is 100 times more effective than ordinary soil and transfer them into the nutrition to the food production, according to the research. And this can contribute to regenerate agriculture. This means black soil research can not only decrease the carbon emission, but also can increase the food productivity without further damaging the environment. For the political part, we have three parts of a program to contribute to this. So for the collaboration between two nations, it can ease the tension of the agriculture competition, as I mentioned before. The sharing result can improve the agriculture business internationally for both countries and prevent 10 to 20 loss of arable land for both countries. And the third part for the cooperation on the climate change, it helped both countries to reaching the common goal of addressing the climate change. So overall, our best result for the program is hope Both nations will expecting more collaboration in the future to improve and grow together. To sum up, our proposal is UMN and Chinese University should collaborate on research on Black soil and create a sharing information platform for the commercialized use. After the results being tested out, it can eventually improve the overall agriculture community. What should UMN do is funding the program and find a partnership in China, which is matching the university in China and connect to the funding company to invest us and to test result to improve more. So this will bring us a win-win impact. So it can not only prospect the agriculture economy, but also can addressing the common global warming issue. More importantly, we expecting more US and China future collaboration after our project.